Gentlemen, nothing's gone wrong. Take 3 or 4. Yay, how are we? Woo.
Ooh, wait, how's my sound?
It's fine.
Don't even joke about it. Don't even
Okay,
joke
I won't
about it.
touch anything. Can't touch this.
We on Wednesdays normally record at 6 o'clock. It's currently 6:34 because both the guys are on campus at Ryerson. I'm at home, and just putting the mics together has been a bit of a difficulty, but we're putting it together. First they sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks when I got onto the call. That was bad. Daniel's mic just hates him, which is unfortunate because he's such a good guy. But we're here. Somehow, after the hurdles of technology, I guess. Anyway, hockey. Woo! We like hockey. Yeah. Ooh, the Leafs and Habs doing stuff. But I think we can. Before we get to the Leafs, we'll go to the Leafs before we go to Montreal. But first off, I think we need to talk about a certain Duck retiring, the second greatest Duck in the history of the franchise. Daniel, yeah, come on now. Corey Perry, it will be retiring at the end of the season. Throw it over to our Ducks guy, Daniel. Your childhood is over, according to our notes on our doc. I'm guessing you said that. How do you feel? What do you got to say about the career of Ryan Getzlaf?
Okay, I think, the two things that I look at for it is, first, I was really sad it happened. I mentioned it to you guys. I was really upset. I know it was kind of something that you were expecting to happen from last season, especially the injuries mounting, team not doing well, a new GM coming in, I think exacerbated that. But I think I gave it time to reminisce, in a sense, of the good times of Ryan Getzlaf, of the whole career. I think when I think back on one player, I think he's the one guy that I could look at, also with Corey Perry, that I really grew up with. Like when I really got into hockey when I was a lot younger, it was those two guys I watched in the World Juniors, and then I watched them play for the Mighty Ducks, and then I watched them win a cup. I watched them win gold medals. So they're the guys that have been there throughout my entire life, from being so little to, adulthood right now. So I know, Adam, you're going to say Corey Perry, number one Duck, but Ryan Getzlaf, he's the only player to play for the Ducks this long, 17 seasons. Longest captain at 9 seasons. And yeah, I don't know. It's a weird feeling for me that when you think of the Ducks, you think of Ryan Getzlaf right now. I think right now, I don't think you should go for a captain. Everyone's saying it's Cam Fowler right now, but I think just let it marinate for a bit. Let it be that this was Getzlaf's team for so long and just go with it. Because we look at the stats and, number one in scoring. He is going to retire with only one team. Like a lot of people say Teemu Selanne, Paul Kariya, Corey Perry, but come on, this is the one guy that stayed with the Ducks.
There's a sentiment they're playing your whole career. And then Selanne was like, the pit stop in Colorado. Jets fans kind of hang on to him as their guy. 1,000 points he'll retire with. I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think it's 8 seasons with at least 50 assists, which is just incredible. You have a thought on Ryan Getzlaf there, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, Daniel talked about the stuff in Anaheim, but let's not forget about the stuff he did with Team Canada. 2 Olympic golds, right? 2010, 2014. I feel like I'm missing something, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
2005 World Juniors.
2000. Is that the team that Anthony Stewart says is the best World Junior team of all time?
Yeah. This was the Pierre McGuire double D on year.
Fair. No, but again, I think he's had not only an impact just in Anaheim, being there for 17 years, but I think internationally as well too.
Sorry, I didn't know if you were done there.
No worries, sorry. No, I ended my sentence weird. You're right.
World Cup of Hockey 2016 as well.
I was going to ask if he was part of that. I remember Perry was on the team. And
he was a late add-in, Corey Perry. Yeah.
I also love the fact that you both mentioned the World Junior, that World Junior team. Dion and that before mentioning Sidney Crosby or Patrice Bergeron. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, I think that's like that legendary team that everyone talks about.
Yeah.
Not bad. Is he a Hall of Famer? Because that debate is going. I think it's safe to say I wouldn't have him first ballot, But I think he gets there, especially like being the guy in Anaheim, one of the biggest big men the league's ever seen, and an incredible playoff performer too. Nearly point per game in his career.
Yeah. Seventh, all time. No, what is it? He's seventh all time right now in scoring.
Getzlaf?
No, that's seventh all time scoring. He's like in, what was it? Seventh something with scoring.
I think
with
I don't
current,
think he'd be
like,
that high.
I think active players, I can't remember.
Active.
But I think like overall he's like 88th.
I can double check.
But yeah, I don't know. It just like, even for me, it's a tough call. And Alex, I don't know if you're going to agree with this, but it's kind of like Ryan Getzlaf's like Lowry.
He's ninth among active players.
Among active players. All right, thank you. I think he's kind of like Cal Lowry to me, where star level, consistent all-star type of player level, at least in that regard.
Yeah.
But he wasn't always the best player on the team, if that makes sense. Like when he started his career, there was Teemu Selanne, who rejuvenated his career. There was Chris Pronger, Scott Niedermayer, and then Corey Perry's the one who won the individual awards. But there was that longevity there with Getzlaf that I didn't, you didn't really see with the other players, because like Pronger was only there for a few years, even though he's a Hall of Famer. Scott Niedermayer was at the tail end of his career. Paul Correa didn't want to re-sign. Corey Perry was bought out. So I think in that regard, for me, that's why I think Getzlaf is the greatest Duck.
By the way, if you look at active players and assists, he's fifth, by the way. And the only guys ahead of him are Thornton, you may have heard of Sidney Crosby, Backstrom, who's been giving Ovechkin the puck for a decade, and Patrick Kane, who is probably one of the best American players of all time. Good player. I think he'll definitely get there one day to the Hall of Fame, but I don't know if it's going to be anytime soon. You know what I mean? It's weird that he doesn't have any like individual awards. He had like a 91-point season. But just a hell of a career for him. I don't think we in the East ever really appreciated how good he was. And I wonder if part of that is the Ducks just sort of missed out in the 2010s on winning again, because, Chicago and LA existed. And then, St. Louis too. And if they ever had a last shirt, like hoorah, would have been around there, maybe a few years before that. But yeah, I wonder if that's always going to hold it. It's that he never got that second chip, but still a good player, great career. And, like to see he'll probably be a part of that organization in some way afterwards, or maybe he'll just disappear I don't know where he's from.
He's from Calgary.
Seems like an Albertan guy. Where is he?
Yeah, he's like one of the most famous Calgary hitmen ever.
That makes sense. Okay. And I am joking about Perry being the better Duck, by the way. I just, soft spot. I love trying to claim Corey Perry, even though he played for Montreal for like a year. In a shortened year.
It's like when I claim Zach Bogosian as a Leaf.
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
when I claim Carter Verhaeghe as a Leaf.
Yeah, exactly. That's even more of a stretch. I just want to say, I was at that. I think you guys mentioned it on the episode. I was at the game on Thursday. Zach Bogosian, Winnipeg Jets jersey sighting.
You mean
what?
Tampa and Toronto? I mean Winnipeg and Toronto.
Yeah, Winnipeg.
Right?
Yeah. What did I say?
No, you didn't say it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Sorry. Yeah. There was a Zach Bogosian Winnipeg Jet jersey. Huh?
What jersey did you wear, Alex?
John Tavares.
Oh, I thought you were going to wear the Zach Bogosian.
That would have been funny. Could have taken a picture. I would have taken a picture with the guy. Well, both with Zach Bogosian jerseys.
That was actually Bogo for Norris. That was the guy.
Yeah, that's who was the account. Exactly.
Okay. Guys, I think the back-to-back the Leafs just had in Florida. I'm not a Leafs fan. I'd rather have my eyes gouged out than become one. I feel like everyone outside of Leafs Nation, I think, just got a taste of what it feels like to be a Leafs fan for the first time, like really understood it. Because that Tampa game, I saw Austin Matthews play, and I thought, I almost put in the doc, if they play the Bruins in the first round, I think the Leafs are making it to the third round, no problem. Because I think they can beat Boston. The Demons are slaying, and I think they would make it. I didn't want to put it on the doc, though. Because I was
someone
like,
put it on the doc.
Oh, did I put it there? Then?
I think you did.
I did.
Well, it wasn't me. I assure you.
I put if they face Boston in the first round, they're going to the finals, which maybe I should. I put that before the Florida game. Now, the reason I say, like a typical Leafs fan might feel, I then saw the Panthers game and went, oh, I know how it feels. It was 5-1. Leafs lose 7-6 in overtime. There's a lot to get into here. Where would we like to start?
Well, I think it would be completely unfair to talk about both games in one because they're quite drastically different games. Actually, it's 5 periods of, you know what, wow, and 1 period of, oh, wow.
So let's get to the Tampa one first because I do think it's a quicker discussion, right?
Sure.
Because it was, so Jack Campbell was in that for it, obviously, great guy. Love that sort of stuff. We can talk about the Simmons stuff too, but like, I just want to like, before I throw it to you guys, because I just want to say like one thing about Matthews. Mm-hmm. You know how sometimes when McDavid scores goals, you're like, he made that player, that defender look like they're playing Pee-wee?
Yeah.
Matthews makes scoring goals look easy, which besides like Ovechkin, I don't know how many guys in the league are capable of that. It looks effortless.
It's not that he makes it look easy to score. It's that he makes it look easy to score against the best goalies.
That's a left.
The deflection goal. That one was like, wow, beautiful.
I think like I'm very high on Vasilevsky. I think he's incredible. Yeah. He made it look easy on the best goalie in the league.
Mm-hmm. And that was like I know McDonough's out, and I think I want to have a discussion like toward a little later when I want to look at the East because I think people aren't talking about goaltending in the East specifically. It's not just Toronto and Florida have question marks. We'll get to that later. But even with like, and forget about the Leafs. Muzzin. I can't remember if Muzzin's first game was against. It was against Tampa.
It was against
right?
Florida. No,
it was against Florida. Never mind. Yeah. So they didn't have Muzzin for that game. They haven't had him. Campbell's just come back, so that's sort of the balanced out there. But it did not feel like that was a statement game by Toronto.
Yeah. Every few months on the podcast, I have to reiterate the point that the reason why I'm not completely off of believing true, like I still believe in this team, nothing like I did maybe at the beginning when we started this podcast, but there's still this sense of belief because they pull games like that out. They pull games like the way they played against the Bruins literally last week and against the same 2 teams a mere 2 weeks ago. Like there are statement games where they come out and they play a really, really good game against the best teams in the league. Like you can be an ass about it, but they're a good team. Like I think it's purely a fact. They're fact. You might not believe in facts, but this is a fact. They are the 4th best team in the NHL at this moment. Fact. You cannot dispute that.
Is that the standings or?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. I was about to say, okay.
They are good. It just, I agree with Alex that there's these games that the Leafs kind of in a way, like they reintroduced themselves, and in case people got back into I call them cliches or the old habits of saying, oh, the Leafs are never like this good, or, they're just a fake contender in the sense. It's just, sometimes I just kind of feel like after these statement games or a good stretch of these 1 or 2 statement games, there is the next game we're going to talk about is the 7-6 game. And I think that is bad. Like that is horrible. That wasn't a good game to really finish off. But at the same time, I think there's too much focus on those types of games, saying that that's the identity of the team and that's all we have, which is not true.
Just some numbers I have from Hockey Reference here. The Toronto Maple Leafs, the league average is 216 goals for it. The Leafs are 268. If we're looking at goals against, they're basically league average, but that's like the goal scoring is what this team is built on. Goals for per game, they're 3.83. They're a 30% power play. I haven't checked it, but I'm pretty sure that has to be at least top 3 in the league. Their PK is above league average at 83%. It's just fact that they are a very, 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 very good freaking hockey team.
Their special teams are not an issue. This might be the first year in the I'll call it the Austin Matthews era where special teams are not an issue.
Power play finally popped.
Power plays popping. Ilya Mikheyev scoring shorthanded goals. I didn't even know he could score, let alone shorthanded. So it's not the special teams are finally not an issue.
I'm just looking at some of the scoring on the team, and Morgan Riley has 60 points, which is the quietest defenseman in the league right now. I'm not sure to say Yossi because he's probably not getting enough attention, but quietly Alex Kerfoot's putting up nearly 50 points. That's not bad. Nylander's at 66, and he slowed
down.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Tavares is nearly point per game. No one's talking about that.
He's trash.
Mitch Marner, I love elite prospects so much. I love their projected seasons. Marner missed time in 73 games. He's projected for 102 points and is now a 31 goal scorer, which the level of confidence to his game too. It's a different Mitch Marner. And when we get to the playoffs, obviously people are going to say, "Yeah, Matthew, he'll be good." I don't know if this is a popular opinion or not. I think that the Leafs, beside the goaltending, because that applies to every team, I wonder if the Leafs go as far as Mitch Marner can take them. Because, and I am saying that well aware that they have the MVP on their team, but that's the question, is what Mitch's game does in the playoffs. That's what I'm really curious about.
And I think you're spot on, though, right? Because what happened last year? Let's go back to the Montreal series. Every time we talked about it on the podcast, what did the Philip Deneau line do? They shut down Austin Matthews. And you said it, Adam, on this podcast, that they left Mitch Marner because Mitch Marner was not a threat. Clearly, that's a fact. That's a fact, unfortunately. If Mitch Marner is, let's say we're going into round 1. Mitch Marner's on his game. Austin Matthews is on his game. That it's much harder to shut down 2 elite players than it is 1. I'd imagine that's a fact as well.
Pens are pretty good at that, aren't they?
The who?
The Pens are pretty good at the example of that, isn't it?
Yeah,
pretty
exactly.
Good defensemen too, and they're
exactly
2 big stars. Would you guys? Okay, I need someone to explain this to me because I was obviously watching the Habs. Mm-hmm. So the big rig, Mr. 3 consecutive Stanley Cups, Pat Maroon, yeah, and Wayne Simmons were jawing each other and they got game misconducts or something. What the hell happened there?
They got game misconducts for chirping.
Why?
Because they were being bad boys.
Could not tell you.
What was that quote from Pat Maroon? The game's going in the wrong direction.
I mean, I saw that. I took that with a grain of salt because I did go back and look.
Okay.
When was the last time someone got a game misconduct for chirping?
I think people were. Sorry, Daniel. I'll say one quick thing here. I think people are a bit. It was after the Terry stuff, so maybe people saw that and they took it the wrong way. But yeah, I don't think. The chirp for chirping, 10 minutes. I don't agree with that. Sorry, go ahead, Dan.
No, wasn't there something I was reading that I can't remember the source, but it's alleged that the ref was saying this is not good for TV or something.
I saw that as well, which is oh, now you care, Mr. Referee.
Drop the face off and you're going to take 10 minutes to do it. Ooh,
Mr. NHL, Mr. Referee. Now TV's an issue. Really? I did see that as well, Daniel. Come on. And it happened against Winnipeg too. I don't remember who the other player on Winnipeg was, but it was Wayne Simmons and the guy from Winnipeg. And Kyle Clifford had just gotten into a fight and they were just about to drop the puck and kicked Wayne Simmons and someone else out. Why? It turns out that they were going to fight. can the NHL damn decide what they want with this league? Because this pettiness of back and forth of trying to appease people here and then trying to appease people there is not working. And you just look like you just look stupid.
For the start of the year when they were like, we're going to crack down on cross-checking. And then they stopped. It's like everyone's complaining about officiating lately. It will be like 12 games if we're lucky, and the playoffs are going to start and everything's going to go back to normal.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
100%.
Most predictable sport in the world.
Well, we're going to watch for headshots.
How was Campbell in that game?
Which one?
Tampa.
I thought he was fine. Like, my first reaction was, and he did come in against Florida too.
Oh yeah, we will get to that.
Jack Campbell, and I'm going to issue an apology later because Florida was my fault. But I know I've criticized Jack Campbell. And I said, okay, he's not an elite goalie. He's not the 940 or whatever, the crazy stupid numbers he was putting up in the first couple months, but he's still a good goalie. I believe he's a good goalie. He's above league average, in my opinion. And I think, it's crazy what happens when you're not playing when you're injured, right? Like, I think this is what is happening, right? Is that unfair to say?
I've been I haven't been playing well for a while. Oh yeah. So I had a rib injury for a while, comes back healthy and plays well. I think 1 + 1 = 2, my friend.
Right. So again, I'm going to be highly critical of the organization for allowing him to play injured. I understand your goaltender situation, but running out your starting goaltender who you've decided is your starter and it just it wasn't right. It wasn't right.
Okay. Florida.
Yeah.
Man, it's really annoying when you watch the Habs get pumped by the Sens. You listen to Tim Stützle diving all game, and then you just see this insane game where it's like 13 goals scored in Toronto. I'm like, I caught overtime, but that was all I got to watch. Okay. Oh, how do we talk about this? Yeah, it was 5-1. Everyone knows that by now. I can't think of a more example of Leafs hockey than the past 48 hours. I really can't. Listen, first off, the Panthers are not off the hook here. Because at one point it's like, okay, so I think I texted you guys. No, we were all watching the game, I'm pretty sure. The Panthers, that was not the incredible comeback, the only comeback they've had in the past week. They did it against the Devils too. And they do it against the Leafs. And, being a big deficit, that's credit on the Leafs. You don't get credit for falling down that far down against the New Jersey Devils, who had to play Andrew Hammond at one point. I love Hammond, but that's not a good scenario. So the Panthers are not scot-free here.
Him.
Poor Nico Dawes.
That guy's getting killed.
Yes.
That's so. Let's make this clear. The Panthers are not off the hook here. Before we just go and rip on the Leafs, it's just we have more of a focus on them, obviously. But we will talk about the Panthers a little because Barkov and Huberdeau are so freaking good. Anyway, I just love how Alex puts, well, it's a game in the Google Doc. And I'm just like, how do you, what do we say? What do we say about it? What is this just the way that the Leafs are now? Is it just the sort of 8-6 games versus Detroit? And it's blowing 4 and 5-1 leads. And I'm not trying to be sarcastic here, but this is just what they are.
I mean, I guess that's one way of looking at it.
It's so strange. Like, I understand the thing of all the scenarios people were talking about, the back-to-backs and all the games played and all that. I will say people weren't giving that credit to Tampa. And remember that road trip they went on where their bus was breaking down? That was 2 weeks ago.
Tampa's?
Yeah, they had a hell of one in Western Canada. It was legitimately, it was, I'm surprised they came out as many points. No one was talking about it. I just let me know if I'm off here, but I'm seeing so many Leafs fans. I like to think I'm a pretty reasonable Habs fans going towards the Leafs, but how are they so nonchalant about blowing a 5-1 lead? I went to a Habs game where they blew 5-1 against the Rangers, and I wanted to never cheer for that team ever again.
Because, okay, I'm going to explain this in a way that is probably not right, but I'm going to try it anyways.
Okay.
The fact is, this is my personal look at it. They are like, what do you want? Do you want me to be mad? Like, do you want me to, I can yell about it, but like, it's not worth my energy. It's not worth my time, because we've established that like none of this matters. At the same time, the fact is they're 5-1-1. Okay. They're 5-1-1 against Tampa, Boston, and Florida this year. They played Tampa the night before. They played Boston, Tampa, and Florida over the last 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. And then they dropped this, right? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to think. Like half of those goals probably don't go in the playoffs simply because 3 or 5 goals last night were power play goals. And to be honest, half of those penalties probably weren't penalties to begin with. The lights just turned off. So I'm going to finish this and go turn the lights back on again. But like, what am I supposed to say? This is probably the best put Leafs team we've seen under the Matthews era. Like the way they've meshed, the numbers they're putting up, I think they're better than last year's team. I really do.
Yeah, 100%.
There's two things.
Like that's why I'm not as worried as you are, because it's happened before, but at the same time, this is the best team. And unlike years in the past, the way they played before Florida, the way they played Tampa, Boston, and Florida, I've never seen them play like that before. I mean that genuinely. As Daniel's lights also.
I'm gonna go turn on the lights.
Okay, yeah, you guys just go quickly. Do your thing. I'm just gonna make this.
That's my thing.
Yeah. And you can also extend it to that game against the Habs. The Leafs ran Montreal show that entire game. It was just Jake Allen was just playing on his head. It was incredible. As the gentlemen, they're both doing their excursions. Daniel, I think you were about to say something as you were the first sitting back down.
Yes. Okay. So I think there's 2 things I identified with what Alex said, and I hope my microphone is still okay. The first thing is, I think when it comes to these blown leads, and as being, I guess, the second biggest Leafs fan on this podcast, it's because we're desensitized to the blown leads.
Why does it sound like Stockholm Syndrome is the relationship Leafs nations have with their team?
Maybe it is. Like, it's held us captive in a way that it's this fandom. It's like it hurts real good, if that makes sense.
I don't think it's Stockholm Syndrome though. Like, because it's not like, I think we're all extremely mad, but the thing is, why am I going to yell about it? What is the point?
Wait, I got another one.
Like, what is the point?
It's not tough, but like, it's a loving marriage with many challenges.
Dan, I don't know what to say to that. I can't comment on that. Being the ripe age of 22 and a half, really, if you think about it. I can't. Been in one relationship since high school. Can't really give you a real thing there on the marriage.
No, it's just like it's a typical thing where because Alex, you were a fan for a long time of the Leafs, right? Mm-hmm. And it's a kind of thing where it's one of those. It's like those long lasting. I don't know. I'm using a marriage as an analogy. It's one of those long lasting marriages. You knew each other since you were so young, and you guys still bicker about each other, but you still love the flaws you have with each other because you love the person. So it's just kind of like, okay, this happened. This is not going to destroy the whole thing, but I am a bit disappointed in this situation.
You remember how in last episode I said, I understand the points against Keith Yandel playing, but it still just feels wrong to me. I just feel so wrong about this. Like, I don't know if I've experienced it. There is legitimately no other team in the league quite like the Leafs. They are truly unique. And I almost have this thing. I'm like, people have been talking about scoring in the league, and statistically, if you look at it, save percentage is down and scoring is up at a tremendous amount. We're gonna have so many 100-point players at the end of the year. It's incredible.
I have a theory on that, by the way. And
what is it? Because people have talked about the lack of training camp and that it's been such a condensed schedule, and maybe people are just tired.
Okay, that wasn't mine. Oh, that wasn't my theory, but Friedman and Merrick did bring it up on 32 Thoughts, but I did think of it before I listened to it. So I'm going to take credit for my idea.
They can send us the royalties in the mail.
Exactly. My theory is I think we're in this very weird transition stage in the NHL where we had these elite goalies who slowly left the league or aren't at their top pace. Pekka Rinne, Henrik Lundqvist, Carey Price, because he is not in the league at the moment. Who am I? I feel like I'm missing a couple names, but you understand the point. And the younger goalies who we all expect to be elite haven't reached elite status yet. And I think we're going to get there, but we're in this weird transition phase where we have a very, very small number of elite goaltenders in the league and a much larger numbers of good goaltenders and that number will slowly go down as those good goaltenders move in to the elite category. My theory.
I really that because, and I know it is a sample size that
there's no way
been used in a while, but actually no, it's been used several times just theoretically. Yeah. Theoretically, and it's when you look at how many Olympic teams we've made up of, and I think one example is how difficult it was for us to think about who Canada's goalies were going to be. But when we look back on other years, when you look back for example, I look back at the Vancouver Olympics and then Team Canada, you have a team of still, I know, an older 37-year-old Martin Brodeur, but then you still have Roberto Luongo. Yep. And then the goalies that were left off, also you still have Marc-Andre Fleury, Price left off that team. And then other countries you look at, like Evgeny Nabokov was still there. Henrik Lundqvist was in his prime, like you said. Pekka Rinne was in his prime. Tuukka Rask was just getting up there. So I kind of agree with that, where you look at certain goalies, and we always mentioned Andrei Vasilevsky, but then we don't really talk about other echelons. We talk about, okay, Igor Shesterkin is playing really, really well right now. But at the same time, we talk about other goalies who have done well, but they're just not at that star level I think we saw in the 2010s or in the early 2000s.
Respect UC Saros. Respect UC Saros. Short
I don't
goalie.
like short goalies.
I'm
just kidding.
Of course.
I love how Daniel and I are in the same building, by the way, and one of us are cutting out.
Okay, I was hoping.
Am I cutting out?
That was
but you're good now. You're good now. I gotta love it.
Okay, did you guys hear my whole goalie rant then?
Yes, we did, about going into the Olympics and all that. We got it. We got it. I don't know if you mentioned Mike Smith,
because I thought that was a well thought out thing.
It was.
I don't know if you purposely didn't say Mike Smith or you cut out, but I noticed you didn't mention Mike Smith.
I don't think he's elite.
He's not, but I wanted to.
I'm going to say this now. I know that there's a lot of Oilers fans. I think they probably turned against him already, but even his 2014 numbers that got him onto the Olympic team weren't good. 2012 for him to be on that team.
Yeah, but he made a wicked pass to McDavid last night. Was it last night?
Oh,
yeah,
awesome.
He was. Best thing he's done all year.
Daniel's not impressed.
You talk about, by the way, the relationship, how it's like a happy marriage of challenges for the Leafs. The negative side and the other side of that situation is the relationship Oilers fans have with Mike Smith. And it's something else. Listen, I'm starting to not give a single crap if Huberdeau and Leon Draisaitl aren't good at defense. Put them in the MVP race for the love of anything. How do you not look at Alexander Barkov?
Are you referring to somebody?
No. Listen, I know it's not personal with Dom Decision. It's his model. I'm just saying, you know how recently I've been turning on the idea of just because your Draisaitl play with McDavid, you shouldn't be punished for it, because I looked at like Lemieux and Yager and no one was ever like, oh my God.
But is anyone penalizing Draisaitl and McDavid? Like, they've won 3 of the last Hart trophies, 3 of the last 5.
When Draisaitl won, people were not happy, but I think we were part of it.
Yeah, but I thought my reasoning was very good. He's not the MVP of his own team. Why would he be the MVP of the league?
I definitely think that there are people who are still kind of discrediting it. I just don't like this thing of defense is important. We all know that.
Especially as a center.
They're not like Wheeler and Scheifele. And like Huberdeau is a winger. So if you want to go on Draisaitl, like I get that. That's fine. Even though like consecutive 250 goal years, no one there's one other two others because Stamkos no bad. I think I get Draisaitl's getting dirty. I'm not saying he should win the MVP over Matthews, and I think it is Matthews now because Shesterkin's fallen to a 933 last time I checked. But I'm just saying, Lord. Like, all I want is just like respect Huberdeau. Like I think Dom very purposely put out his top 10 guys the night after Huberdeau lit up the Leafs for a very specific reason. Because
great market. Loves it.
Yeah, because him and Alan Walsh are going at it. Like, he did that on purpose. Not to mention, I think he was upset because I think he bet on the Leafs or something. Yeah. He was tweeting about it. I'm just saying, respect talent.
I just
good.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I come back to the same question I had with the Oilers. Is I'm not trying to discredit anything Huberdeau has done. I'm just asking the question, is he the MVP of his own team? Because if he's not, how can he be the MVP of the league? Like, that's what I'm trying to understand. Like, to me, Barkov's the MVP of that team. Like, I think, Adam, you love Barkov.
Yeah,
like,
I saw people saying Matthews is the best all-around game in the league. I'm like,
no.
Like, no, it's Barkov still.
Yeah, I'm a Barkov and Crosby stan, 100%. Yeah,
that's what I'm sure. Like, I get the Huberdeau hype. I'm all aboard it, and what he's done is incredible. He is a hell of a player. But how is he the front runner of his own team to win the MVP if he's not the MVP of his own team? That was my thing with Draisaitl, and that's my thing with Huberdeau. I'm not trying to disrespect the players at all. I'm just asking the question based on the language of the award. That's why I'm curious.
It's 13 games without Barkov enough for you?
Because we had that argument before. Remember with Draisaitl and McDavid? It's like how many
games was that though? Because it's
didn't have with Connor debate, right? To get these.
That
numbers.
Was 6.
That was 6. Yeah, so because he's played, because Barkov missed 13 games, or he's played 13 less than Huberdeau. So actually, let me just very quickly. I want to get up. I'm just gonna double check what Barkov's on pace for. Just because I just want to listen. Matthews is the MVP. I'm just saying, can we respect future Hab Jonathan Huberdeau? Let me just double check what they're both projected to be on in the full, or at least in this pace. Because if Barkov's on pace for like 100 points and
he's
on the season, which I don't think he will be.
But Barkov, sorry.
Yeah, Alex Barkov.
I think Huber. The thing for me is I'd have to go look at, because I think the thing with Draisaitl is that Draisaitl was so good when McDavid was gone for 6 games. So I'd like to go back and look at how Huberdeau performed when Barkov was out. Not that I'm saying he performed poorly, just for my own knowledge. I don't want to say something and be completely wrong. So that's what
crap.
I'd be curious about.
Is it?
In 69 games, nice. Barkov is on pace for 41 goals and 92 points. Holy crap.
Jeez Louise.
And let me get Huberdeau's up for his full pace on the year. 1 second. Because if he's outscoring him by like 20 points or something, then I think you can kind of give it to him. My whole point is Donald Decision, just put some respect on Jonathan Huberdeau's name. Not to mention, people were like, I didn't know Huberdeau was this good. He had 90 points like 2 years ago, people. Like, what? And in 82 games, Huberdeau is on pace for 30 goals and 119 points. So they might actually be kind of similar if you look at it. I think you're fair there, Alex. I'm not going to do the exact 82, but Barkov scoring more goals. And I know Huberdeau's been playing on the penalty kill in a stretch. He hasn't been doing it the whole year, I think. So I think it is fair. It's just, I think we'd have to look at what was Huberdeau during that stretch, because remember, there was a point where Huberdeau was catching McDavid and Draisaitl for the scoring lead when it was that tailspin where they were falling. By the way, people saying that McDavid and Matthews are tied for the odds to win MVP. I'm like I saw them, like, Matthews is like 47 goals the last 47 games. And I was like, maybe he is the best player on the planet right now. Maybe he is. I legit, I was like, I saw that.
You said it. You said it. I want to be awfully clear.
And I'm like, holy crap. If he scores 60, it's going to be, because he's a lot better defender. That Tampa game changed a lot for me, but then
he's a good.
Anyway, the Panthers are worrying too because their goaltending sucks.
Sorry, this is a conversation maybe for the summer, and I don't know if this is a hot take, but I think we should seriously consider that Austin Matthews might, by the time this current contract is done, might be the greatest Leaf of all time. But that's a conversation for the summer. Man,
remember how I was like, he's got to win something?
You have to I know you said that. I know you said that, and I thought, and I was thinking about it. The thing is, though, you have to look at, like, the Leaf. Like,
I was wrong.
It's been over 50 years since they've won a single thing.
Yeah,
so
I was wrong.
It's just hard to, like, win what that he won a Rocket. He might win a Hart. Like, you never know.
I know. Yeah. Okay. No, it's not. Fair. It's like face of the league. Like, listen. Once McDavid gets a competent team, he's probably going to take the crown back.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's probably a recency thing, but it's just the Oilers have been such a show, and I'm almost at the point of Dubas shouldn't lose his job. Maybe Sheldon, but I think the big four get traded before anything like that happens.
Yeah, we'll see how the playoffs go.
I think they have to win. I think
this is the year. Oh. Yes, this is the year. Like, if this is the year, I'm like, I will see how Sheldon Keefe fits for the future plans after round one.
Like, I know you guys are saying, and I'm just really optimistic, or I'm really pessimistic too. But when Matthews scored 50. The entire by the way, I've never heard that building that loud before. I've never heard Scotiabank Arena that loud. The look on Matthews, no reaction. Like, cool, he scored, went on the bench, sat there like this. No smile, nothing. This, and I agree, it's not one round. One round is not enough for me.
Okay. How many rounds? 2 rounds?
We can agree. Because here's the thing: if you win 2 rounds, they have to win. You're saying, Alex?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm listen. Like, it's been a little too long. Come on, like especially with this core, I get they were accept. I don't know if they can win it. That's just my expectation.
Let's look at it like this: who are the big contenders? Unpopular opinion: I think the Penguins might come out of the East.
Oh yeah.
Remember, it's the last dance year for them.
So let's just because the reasons might surprise you. Let me just quickly get up the Eastern Conference for a second here, because I was thinking about this, having a discussion with the family today, and I kind of okay. Here's a big thing with Tampa Bay, and I refuse to shut up about it. McDonough's too big of a loss that people aren't talking about. If he's back for the playoffs, then it's like, okay, the 3P probably going to happen. Okay, Carolina is good. They have mentalities. Again, we've talked about it. People aren't giving them enough crap for not winning. And Freddie Anderson is a massive question mark and then in the playoffs. Okay, next. The Rangers, Shesterkin's amazing. They're playing him into the ground, though, and there's just a lot of questions with the Rangers overall. They're ahead of schedule, right? It's not their time. Okay. The Panthers, Bobrovsky is a wild card. So is Spencer Knight. The Leafs, Campbell, who freaking knows? But he's good, but it's just Leaf stigma, right? Like, Leaf stigma. The Lightning, Vasilevsky is a bit different, but if they don't have McDonough, I have difficulties. Boston's goalies aren't battle tested. The Caps goalies kind of suck. So, and even Jari last year was such a question mark. But I really look at the Pens, and if they come out the East, I wouldn't be surprised.
So I think they played them last night too. But I didn't get to watch last night's game, but I watched the game Pittsburgh and Colorado played on Saturday. Oh, I could watch 7 games of that. I could watch 7 games of that.
Yeah, people are always like, Crosby and McDavid when they play each other. McKinnon and Crosby is. Remember when it was like, McKinnon may miss time? Had 2 goals last night. That finger. I'd like to know what he said to that finger to make it stop hurting.
What did Friedman say? Was it Friedman who said it, or he quoted it?
Cut off. He'll cut it off and score like 70 goals in the playoffs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but also the Panthers. Like Giroux said it best. Like we gotta paraphrasing here. We need to have a little less exciting wins. Also, I wanted to mention 2 players. By the way, we kind of mentioned them already, but Leon Draisaitl hits 50 goals for the second time. He hits 100 points the same night, and of course 100 points for Jonathan Huberdeau.
Is that because he is French or because he was an agent, client of Ken Hughes, or both?
Well, I didn't know he was a Ken Hughes client. Was he?
I don't know. I'm asking.
I just know because he is French.
Okay. Is that how I said it?
French.
Is that how I said French?
What was his Q team again?
No, I just like doing it.
Oh, okay.
Because he's French.
What was his team in the Q again?
I have no idea.
I'll double check.
Okay.
No idea. Can you double check his agent too?
Was it Acadie?
St. John's.
St. John's, okay.
Acadie Bathurst Teton is who you're thinking. No,
Yes.
no, it wasn't. No. Ice Dog.
Oh my God. How do we not know Jonathan Huberdeau's agent? We were just talking about. Oh my God. Who's his agent?
He never shuts up about it.
Sorry. I apologize. Hey guys, did you know Sean Durzi put up a couple points last night?
Man.
Oh man.
We mentioned, we even talked about his beef with Dom earlier. How did we miss that?
Guys, Martin Ferk, hardest shot.
Capri Sol in my head too.
Were you okay, Alex?
What?
It's about Sean Durzi?
No, it's just, I'm fine with it. He just sees, I see all those tweets. Did you know Martin Ferk has the hardest shot?
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh,
yeah.
Habs.
Yeah, sorry, let's go.
They had a must-lose game against the Sens, and they have a must-lose game against the New Jersey Devils coming out when Jack Hughes is out for the year for that stuff. Going to the Sens game, though, the big thing coming out was that Tim Stützle and Brendan Gallagher having a bit of a spat, bit of a hoopla. Did you guys see the Gallagher stuff?
A tussle.
Did you see his what he had to say about Stützle?
I did see that. I just don't know what play he was talking about. I've only seen one play. I just don't know if that's the play.
So there was there were a few.
Okay.
What started a lot of it was the Suzuki knee, which it was a knee, but like Suzuki's not a dirty player, obviously. So just to paraphrase here, Brendan Gallagher, when he did this little story time thing, paraphrasing here, talking about when he was 10, he had a coach that said, if you're laying on the ice, it means you are too hurt to play, and you're going to and he would say, then you're going to be off the ice for at least 3 shifts. It's kind of like if a player draws like a penalty, they won't be right away for the power play. They'll be like second unit or a little later, right? But he points out that Tim Stützle will lay on the ice and be out there the next shift. Mike Johnson, bless him, did everything he could to not call Tim Stützle a diver last night. And we talked about it before. Tim Stützle is very much low-key a very good diver. He is amongst some of the best penalty drawers in the league. Funny enough. And he's a good player, but he's not. He was up there with like McDavid and that, which was like, oh, McDavid's drawing penalties now. It's cool. That came out of nowhere. I wonder why. But he's not there yet. And Gallagher called it an embarrassment. This is Brendan Gallagher, by the way, who calls it's Brendan Gallagher. Like, this is a guy who we've seen get cut all the time, bruised, beaten, mauled by his opponents, and he gets back up, right? Like Gallagher, the word is, it's Brendan Gallagher. He plays the right way. He's a pest, but he's not a rat. He's never been a dirty player.
Yeah, he's not the biggest flopper in the league, Brad Marchand. I'm just joking.
I saw Sens fans going after Brendan Gallagher. I'm like, guys, the last time he missed, beside the wrist injuries, the guy had his jaw broken for him to miss significant time before. Like, come on. What do you guys think of the whole situation?
Um, well, I
Go with
didn't get
Brendan.
to see every play.
Alex, you are cutting a bit in and out.
Oh,
You do kind of sound like a transformer
How
as they
about-
are transforming.
how about now?
So far, so good.
How about
Okay.
me?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see every play, but maybe I'm just desensitized to it because I do watch a lot of soccer, and that is a common occurrence. I'm not like saying people should dive, but I'm just not like overreacting to it. Also, because like we watch hockey, like some of the tripping calls are bush league. Yeah, no, you should not dive. Like, please, I beg people to, even in soccer, stop diving. I beg of you. I beg of you.
You can tell, like, it's really funny how sometimes a player will be holding onto a puck and he'll be getting around guys, but he'll fall really easily. Everyone does it. It's just sometimes guys are a lot less obvious than they are in soccer. What about you, Dan? Uh-oh. Hello?
Uh-oh.
Daniel?
Yes.
What do you think? Sorry.
No, sorry. Yeah, I cut out a bit there. I don't know. I really don't like diving, and I don't like that for a guy who, again, it's Brendan Gallagher, who's a veteran player. The way he's played, I know that people think he is a pest, but what you said in terms of how he has played, in terms of what he's been able to endure, he's only missed games with the jaw. And I don't know. I just didn't like Sens fans going against him. I understood. Yeah, it's your guy, Tim Sousa, but we've seen it with him too, not just with the Sens, but also with the World Juniors, where they are a bit more sensitive when it comes to calling out penalties. That it's part of his game. It's part of how it's been shown in the past. And I don't know. I'm just, if I'm going to pick a side, I'm usually impartially these things, but I'm going to choose Brendan Gallagher for this.
It's like I completely lost my train of thought there. I'm embarrassed.
No,
I
that's
completely
fine.
forgot what I was going to say.
No worries.
God damn.
I can step in for a quick second.
Yeah.
Like I understand why players dive because you're trying to embellish it.
Mhm.
That doesn't make it right. I'm saying, listen, in many I don't think there's a team sport where you're not diving, like soccer. It does happen in hockey.
American football is probably the only sport where going down is the bad
Probably,
thing.
yeah. And like it happens in basketball. Very much so, right?
Yeah.
Most people agree, right? So
I was watching the Laker Raptor game a couple weeks ago. I think it was one on the road. And like LeBron got mad and spiked the ball and threw it right on Scotty Barnes, who's on the floor. And there was no call. I was like, wait, what? I texted Will. I'm like,
is that
you
allowed?
can't do that, right? There was no call. I was like, well, I know that's not nice.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah, no, it's been the jaw and the wrists with Gallagher, but half of those have been from his own players shooting pucks at him. But it's not like he throws dirty hits or any. It's Brendan Gallagher. The guy is just a warrior in every sense of the word. I couldn't stand it. I think the Habs are also very frustrated in that game. I don't know if you guys saw it, but there was an interference goal on Cole Caulfield. I want to say that again. 5'6" Cole Caulfield. Because Matthew Joseph skates into him. And Caulfield wasn't even moving. And he just dropped. I'm like, Cole Caulfield was probably 180 wet. Can we be like, what? It was just it's very. I think the Habs have been on the bad end of a lot of calls this year, and we've seen it from Brendan Gallagher on Twitter. I wonder if he just sort of popped a little bit, because again, it's no secret with Stützle. It's one of the worst parts of his game, and eventually, here's the thing: refs get savvy to that. We saw that in Toronto with Nazem Kadri. We saw it in Montreal with Thomas Plekanec. That was bad. What happened with Plekanec and that? Even with Nick Suzuki, doesn't draw as much as he used to when he first, like his rookie year, he was a master at it.
Yeah, and it goes back to the comment that Gabriel Landeskog made. in what was it? It's been a few weeks now since he made that comment, where I think the point he was trying to get across was players clearly have reputations amongst the refs. Kadri has one. I'm sure Tom Wilson has one. I almost guarantee you Brad Marchand has a reputation among the refs. And that's a clear issue, right? We would all be in agreement that that's a major issue for refs to do something like that, where when you're calling something against Kadri versus calling something against player X and you're calling it differently, that's a problem. It should not be happening because it's the NHL and you are a professional sports league. You should start acting like one.
Landeskog was a perfect example because again, it was but Kadri dove there. Kadri's a diver. Oh, but Nino Niederreiter is not. It's very frustrating to watch. It just doesn't help the sport. Listen, Stutz is a hell of a player. He's going to be a great player. But man, just the refs, especially now, the refs are going to pick it up. I saw people talking about stuff, by the way, like Gallagher is trying to get favor and all this. No, that's Brendan Gallagher being honest and being Brendan Gallagher. He's also a guy that, remember how he used to be like the king of even strength goals? That was his first even strength goal of the year because he's been so hurt and so beaten up, and because the Habs have had, 2 short off seasons in the past couple of years, right? So, yeah. Also, the Habs not good in their own zone. A lot of own end turnovers lately. Not been great, but that helps because they're trying to be last. Carey Price is continuing to do full practices. People were saying he looked sharp in practice, which was like cool. He will travel with the team to New Jersey and Toronto. He won't be playing though, which is interesting. But I really do wonder if that Winnipeg game, when they come back from the road, I wonder if that's his first game back. I really wonder if it is.
It's a big game to go back for the first game, I think.
Yeah,
but
they're second of, yeah. We talked about last episode how they were going to, like the Jets game is, and remember the Habs were very thinky about, we didn't like how Scheifele was the other day. But yeah. Just noticed that that Alex said my mic is crackly. Hope it's not too bad. I'll fix that now. Oh, it's good now.
Good now.
But yeah, but it's going to be a fun game to watch. Maybe not Florida, Toronto, but wouldn't mind to see Joel Edmondson take a shot at Scheifele or two. Dan, you better get it ready because I think your lights are about to go out too if Alex is just in.
Let's see. Let me see if I keep waving, maybe.
His vision is based off movements
for now, but. Yeah, I think that's going to be a big game for that. I don't know. I was on the fence about Carey Price coming back for any type of game the way the season's been. Yeah. But I'm looking at the positives of it right now where they've given him as much time as he needs to get back. And I think at the same time, it's a bit of a mental thing to say that he was still able to go in and play a game. And there you go. There goes the lights. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. It just, if I were him, I'd just like to say like, oh, I don't want to show that I missed an entire season. I want to show myself, show the fans, show my team that I still got it. I still want to be someone who could make meaningful contributions towards this team. So, yeah, I'm pretty excited to see if there's a potential Carey Price game this season. And I'm going to fix the lights right now.
Yeah, I hope there is. If he gets traded in the offseason, and that also has to happen with him playing games now, I'm going to one more game this year, and that's the last home game of the year against the Panthers. I really hope Price plays it, and I can maybe see his last game as a Hab if it's going to happen. By the way, if he gets traded, I might have an emotional breakdown on the show. I want you to know that.
You wanted to record
we'll give you. Yeah. We'll let you just do that.
We'll record when I'm ready.
Yeah,
I'll need time.
Are the Leafs and Canadians? I know they play this weekend, but other than that, are they done?
Yeah, I think that's the fourth and final game. I know,
How
right?
many?
They
Like
always
for
ended
what?
at the end of the year. It's
For
weird.
for a straight decade, I swear. Like the one of them would play at home to start, and then the
No,
other would
it's
play
always
away.
in Toronto to start. It's always in Toronto.
Oh,
to
is
start.
it? I don't
It's
remember. I'm
always
too
in
young to
Toronto
remember.
to start. It's infuriating.
But then the last game, I think, usually ends up in
Montreal. Yeah.
Montreal.
This Paling's debut was at Montreal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They didn't do whatever. Stupid
Yeah,
league.
they're done. They're done.
It's Boston, so like I'm okay with that, but I don't know what Montreal's last game is. If that's Florida, but
yeah, Florida. It's really funny that that's what a game to end the year on, especially what the standings could be, or if they're playing each other. By the way, Tampa's back in third, so it's Toronto-Tampa again in the first round.
it might be different. Tampa's playing at 7:30. Oh,
They're
okay,
playing the
never
Caps,
mind. Yeah, so it won't be different. Never mind.
Also, do you know who plays each other like the last week of the season as well?
Tampa and Florida.
No, I believe it is Vegas and Dallas.
Oh boy.
Which will be the Kings are not super clear, by the way. I think if Vegas win their game in hand, they are 2 points back of the Kings. So the Oilers too are only, I think it's like 3 points ahead of LA. So
a point.
The rate a point?
Yeah, single point with a game in hand.
So the Pacific teams, man, how bad is the Pacific? They're still within striking distance, everyone. Okay, to finish, guys, I figured out what's been my number one question about the Habs defense this whole year. What has it been?
Will they trade Jeff Petrie?
Not Jeff Petrie. What, Alex?
Puck movers.
Not just puck movers. That is a decent little thing to go off.
That's
here.
a throwback.
Right-hand shot puck mover.
No. Romanov not playing overtime.
Oh yes.
We have an answer. John Liu tweeted this. Habs Luke Richardson says Romanov plays with so much physicality and passion that he's often worn out by third periods, which diminishes his effectiveness to play in OT when quick decisions have to be made and mistakes can be magnified. Richardson says Romanov is learning to manage his energy so that he can eventually be a regular OT contributor. Richardson summing up Romanov. Sometimes he has too big a gas tank. He likes to stay out there a long time. There it is. Remember, it was like there was a warm-up in the playoffs last year, and he had skated like twice as much as everyone else. Like David Savard had talked about, apparently Romanov's calmed down a lot more. But I really love listening to that.
That's funny.
I really like it. It's an amazing story.
He's just too nuts. That's great.
He's too dedicated.
He's just him and Caulfield are just two little smiling bears. I love it. Panda bear, short bear, little grizzly bear, bar down bear. Scored again, by the way.
Too good.
I hate Tom Ducharme so much. He's such a bad coach. If Marty St. Louis doesn't come back next year, by the way, I will be inconsolable. I want you to know that.
Do we record that episode as well, or do we wait?
Adam just does it by himself.
Marty St. Louis leaves the same day Price is traded.
Oh my lord!
And I just cry forever. Did you guys see that picture of Price and Caulfield on picture day?
I did
feel
not.
like I did, but
go find it. It's my new it's like Price is on his knees doing goalie stuff and him and Caulfield about to hug. It's on my desktop background. It's
you know what I couldn't stop looking at for a while though?
What?
Was the NCAA picture of Keandre Miller and Cole Caulfield.
I didn't know that was a thing. Well,
Okay,
because Keandre's like really tall, isn't he?
He's like 6'6".
Did you see they put at the team photo, they put Caulfield between Petrie and Savard? And like they put him right in the middle too. So you just see how short he is. And there's this video of him asking for a stool.
Yeah, I saw that. But the funnier thing is they had Petrie and Savard just have full on beards, right? Like full on facial hair.
Yeah.
And it's just clean, like I don't know, like just right down to the skin, Cole Caulfield.
He's got his hair gelled backwards and he's just next to a mountain and a Petrie who doesn't want to be there, and it's a whole thing. Did you notice how the 4 alternate captains included Joe Edmondson, by the way? I'm
I
convinced he'll be captain. I'm convinced he'll be.
Really?
Was he not? Was he not
Not to start the year.
assisted?
No, not
He
to start
wasn't
the year.
with the team to start the year, right? Is that
No,
how did that?
He missed like most.
He
of the
missed
year.
most of the year, right? So,
It was
but was he
Weber
not
as
last
captain
year?
with no, he wasn't. No,
Oh.
it was Weber with Gallagher and Byron. Yeah. And then they were alternating it, and Petrie had it at one point this year. And then they gave it to Byron, Gallagher, Edmondson, and Suzuki. So I've actually been against you give Suzuki to C next year because you have the pressure of that.
right.
And next year his contract kicks in. And both of those, like Suzuki is a confident guy, but I hold off, and maybe Edmondson's a nice little placeholder. They really like him. And I like him. He seems like a great guy.
Would you be
Great
okay with
quotes.
that though? Like with
Edmondson?
those the 1 year cap, like you don't want like the long term guy right away. You know what I'm talking about?
He'd be, well, it's not an awful thing to have. I mean, like, listen, he's clearly the guys love him. I don't think it's going to kill you. Like, if Suzuki was bothered by it, like, who cares?
Yeah,
I don't think they're the wrong option. Like, you could give it like Gallagher
No.
too, and who's going to blink?
No one. I this was my opinion, and I think, I mean, I'd say the same with the Leafs. I didn't necessarily think Matthews should have gone the captaincy either at the time, like before what had transpired.
Or he dropped his pen. Yes.
Correct. Like pre that, I thought I was pretty.
We were all Morgan Riley, I think.
I was Morgan Riley because, like, why was he not an option?
He has literally been through the ringer.
He's the oldest Leaf there. I mean, in terms of tenure. What
defense partner has he not had on the Maple Leafs? But again, like giving it to a young guy, and I want to be clear. I'm not trying to diminish Nick Suzuki. What I'm saying is it takes a certain character to be a captain at a young age, a la Gabriel Landeskog. Like who
Steve
else?
Yzerman.
Steve Yzerman. I mean, they did hand Connor McDavid and Jack Eichel captaincies at what, 21 years old?
Yeah, it wasn't great. One got traded and the other one gets lambasted in the media. Like, it rarely works.
Right. Like, it's just giving it to, let's say, Brendan Gallagher, I think, who has also been through it with this team.
Has been there. He's
done
the second
that?
longest tenure behind Price. Yeah.
Right. And
Just
so
weird.
to me, that would be the most obvious candidate. That's why, but I do think like Suzuki will get it eventually. I just don't think giving it to him at what, 22 years old,
22, 23. Yeah.
22, 23 years old in Montreal. And you understand what I mean by that is not the smartest move, in my opinion.
Would you be okay, Adam, if they took their time, like the way
22? Yeah.
the Leafs
23
did it, where before Dion, before John Tavares, they took their time with finding a new captain.
Yeah, well, and and Hughes and Hughes and Gordon sound like patient dudes. And they've talked about like, we'll go through the process. Just the thing, like, if they name it, I'll be cool. If they don't, I don't care. It's whatever. It's just the reason I think of Edmondson too is it sounds like he's been operating as it already. Like, he's the one who took Harris out to dinner. He did it with someone else. I can't remember who. It may have been Paul Byron. I could be wrong, but Edmondson was there for sure. Picked up the bill because that was nice. And Byron, I don't know if he's going to be around after that contract. And not to mention, like, I could see Edmondson staying past his contract, not for as much money, but like, he's a guy who he's a veteran defenseman. They're going to need some because of how many young guys they have. And Edmonton's skating is pretty good. And that's something that's a big part of their sort of plans. And they're going to have a lot of those young puck movers coming in. I think you do need Edmondson there. Don't forget, and obviously the number one reason he should be captain, he brought back Fix You, which is all you need. That was the most important thing. It's really, if they don't name it, I don't care. The problem is, I don't think you can continue to have Shea Weber as placeholder captain,
Right.
because there is there was an article it may have been the Gazette saying that Shea Weber's his silence speaks volumes. Because what doesn't help is he was at Pekka Rinne's retirement ceremony, right? Which you expect, but he hasn't spoken to Habs media yet. And I knew the moment I saw him at that Nashville's thing, I knew Habs fans were going to start turning on him, and they don't like that he hasn't spoken yet. And I'm not going to lie, it bothers me a little bit too, because I think there is an obligation as captain to at least say something. I don't know if he can do a goodbye because of the LTIR stuff, but it has started in Montreal where you cannot have him as captain. Like, he wasn't at the team photo even Carey was there.
I didn't even notice that.
And I wonder if that sorry, Daniel, go ahead.
Oh no, I just said I didn't notice that when I realized, oh wow, like Shea Weber was not there.
Wasn't in the one at the beginning of the year either.
And my guess is it has a lot to do with he's probably not playing again. And that's going to be the topic of discussion at a press conference. And I don't blame him. I understand why he'd be mad, but I don't blame him for not going out there because he's going to be repeating the same thing. I'm injured.
Listen, the first question asked at the golf tournament in the summer is one of the first, if he's not moved because of his contracting, will be about Weber. Exactly. It's just the captaincy to fans. I think it's sort of lost its thingy, but there is still that expectation in Montreal. So there is something fundamentally wrong with so many question marks around the captain of the Montreal Canadiens. And you know what? It's, I think
you have to be careful with it. You know what I mean? Like, in a good way, because when you look back on who were the last few captains,
it ran Pacioretty out of town.
Yeah. Like, even if you go all the way back to one of my quiz questions of Vincent Damphousse, the last Canadian captain before Shea Weber. It's just these guys who were monumental in terms of what they meant to the city. So you had Vincent Damphousse, Saku Koivu, and then I guess Pacioretty, and then Shea Weber.
There was a gap. It's like Koivu was like, I think the last one that went out. Like, they didn't sign him, right? Like, that was a little, but it's like before Koivu to now and like before, it's like they've just been traded. Like, it is just I think Giunta may have walked. I can't remember.
Oh yeah, he signed with the Sabres.
Yeah. So it's always been. Well, I don't think, of course, it's going to be difficult for anyone to fill Saku's shoes in any way, shape, or form. But they can't go wrong. They have options. Either Gallagher or Edmondson or Suzuki. It doesn't matter. Okay, we can end the episode there. It was an uphill battle the entire time.
We got it done.
So apologies if it sounds wacky in some places. It was a mess. But the lads did well to do it on campus and persevere through it. And Alex tried his damnedest to get it to work at there was half an hour at setup, but technology just seems to hate us. Even when we did the Twitch streams, they just hated us. Link below wherever you listen to us to see all the stuff you need to see. Check out the TikTok, especially. We love the TikTok. The TikTok loves making fun of my fandom of Sidney Crosby, and now they can do it about Sasha Barkov. Suck it. What a pass in that overtime winner, by the way. I forgot to mention what a piece. So good.
Oh, I forgot to apologize. Eric Shalgren's performance, my fault.
We did not talk about that.
We did not talk about that. But yeah, that was my fault. I'd like to deeply apologize to Leafs Nation because last episode I said until Jack Campbell comes back, I'm okay with running with Shalgren. And the next game he plays, does he not pull that out? I apologize. But what I will say, I was not responsible for them blowing that game. That was everyone on Twitter who is way too confident. That's what I'll say. But I will apologize simply for Eric Shalgren's performance.
And we apologize that we have to go, but we will let you know we will see you this Sunday. Sunday fun day. Thank you for listening, and we will see you later.
Bye, guys.